in the life of this roof. Almost all the panels are in good enough shape, not even close to be considered for...
So why don't we just jump...
Now let's look at this, because this will help us understand. All the areas on the roof where you have a patch like this where he used the black tar, that's not the proper thing to use in the Texas sun, because the black is going to fail because the UV rays...
So I see you got one here, you got one here.
The only reason that it hasn't failed here is because he did the patch over a raised area. Okay.
Now this, you said, was caused because lumber lifted it up?
Yeah, a forklift raised up too high, put a hole in the roof, and then what we did, you see the difference.
Who's the he? We don't know who did it?
No, I don't know. It was one of the, it was a lumber liquidator's employee. Okay, so he puts a hole in the metal panel. We've had about 4 or 5 of those that we've repaired. Okay?
Okay.
It hasn't been happening as much. So here, in order to repair it properly, we have to take this flashing off, make a patch that goes underneath this to the shape of the metal roofing. Then you put it all back down, you put new screws, and you seal it with polyurethane. This urethane here is a product, NP1 by Sonneborn, which over the last 30 years has proved itself over and over to hold up the best in, really rough conditions, meeting the Texas.
All right, so I see we've got loose washers here.
Right. And here you can see the black neoprene washer, which has lived its life. In the original installation, the original installer pressed it down a little too tight, and then when the washer comes out, and you can see it past the diameter of the metal screw, which is supposed to protect
and that's where the water's coming in from below?
Yeah, and you have this throughout the entire roof.
So, yeah, you got, so let's show, what did you do? Show me one that you repaired.
Well, that was one right there, obviously. That was my...
Right here, you did this, you're talking about? This patch here?
Yes, that was one where we fixed it, and then you see we sealed all the screws with urethane sealant. Okay. And then also in this, any of these flashings that go over to seal an area where you have a penetration in the roof, you have neoprene strips that are at the end of these. Those are all failing. They've lived their life. The neoprene is getting powdery and failing, so that those will need to be replaced on these areas.
Like this?
Yeah, any open area like that, you need a new neoprene strip in there.
Okay.
And then what we do, because the neoprene is black and it doesn't hold up to the sun, we like to keep it close to the edge, and then we'll cover it with a urethane, which will give...
Now the showroom's up here.
Here, Mitch, we're getting ready to deal with a patch. Another one here, where we have a hole in the showroom from a forklift or somebody throwing something up on the roof. We really don't know. So what we do is we come in and we thoroughly clean the area with an acetone bath. Yeah. Then we make a piece of flash and patch that'll fit in and come up the lip of the corrugated. Yeah. Then we'll thoroughly attach it to the roof patch, and then we'll thoroughly coat it with the urethane sealant, again with UV protectant. So
this is over the showroom here, or the showroom's up here?
The warehouse.
The warehouse, right.
Now there's a textbook of what we're talking about right there.
Where the neoprene is already,
it's just failing. The birds can peck on it, some of them are missing. Here's one that we fixed because we had a leak in this area. And you see there, you can see how we put urethane over the neoprene strip.
What happened?
Here's a patch we did at one time, probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Now you see the contrast and comparison. This was not what we did, but here the guy cut the patch out of a piece of metal roofing, which is professional, and then he used urethane, which is proper. But where he went wrong is he mashed the neoprenes down, so eventually that'll fail because we've lost the weather strip of the screw. And it showed that any of them like that.
This is
it's just a leak waiting to happen.
Yeah, so these are where the leaking is.
Now,
so where's the worst part right now in the showroom?
Okay, as far as where they're getting in water the worst right now is right in this area. I have not diagnosed this yet. Mike Halford identified some leaks in the ceiling to me a couple of days ahead of Mitch coming here. So what I recommend in this is we got heavy rains coming. There's no substitute to come over here and look at this when the gutter's filled up. and then we know if it's in the gutter area behind the flashing, or it could be these screws failing, or a combination of all that I mentioned.
Well, I see a bunch of caulking. You know, I don't know if this is.
This is proper caulk. See?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about right in under here.
Well, you don't need it here because this lifts over the deal. But what you've got is, see these screws? Let's come down here, Mitch, because I've got this opened up and you'll get a better idea of what's going on. So we have a leak in the showroom in this corner. Okay?
Yeah.
And maybe you could get this, Mitch. Let me move some of the tools. Okay. So what you've got is his original caulking and the flashing in the corner has failed. And then these screws were all loose. So all the neoprene washers have separated from the screw. Some of them had no tension, meaning from the wind and the rain, they're just not holding it down. So we've got some water getting into the showroom. As this gets a lot of water on it, hits this, and splashes, it's creating enough bonding where these screws that we're talking about that are failing, the water's getting
underneath it.
And it's going right down into the showroom floor.
So the idea is you have to replace the screws with the urethane.
Yes, and we also have to do some weatherproofing on the gutter, which because of debris staying there and staying wet has caused the metal to deteriorate. So we're going to waterproof that. Now, again, you see the rusty screws.
Yeah.
And let's go over to this area, Mitch. Now we'll look at some of the patches.
There's another one.
Yeah, they're throughout the whole thing. They're just failing. Now we come into a patch that we've done within the last 6 months.
So this is what you did.
Water into the showroom. The original sealant that they put on was like a caulk you'd use on the side, right? So we had to come in and grind all that out because it's improper caulk, and then we sealed around that with the urethane. We also sealed this with urethane. That's an older one, but we did that a couple of years ago. You had a leak there. And then, Mitch, you can see the screws. You asked me the other day about screw replacement.
This is what you did 3 months ago.
Yeah, the 25 that we talked about. And then we put the urethane sealant around it, so there's no way that the neoprene washers can fail. So right now, the warehouse on the